Let's start Maria's thing, because I'm pretty sure she's going to run into Miku again, and we're going to be able to finish up Norikawa's thing. So if you don't remember, Maria is Hitomi's twin sister who was kidnapped and then has amnesia. Wait, hold on. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? At my shout, the man with the cane hesitates, his finger on the trigger. What do you mean by that? The barrel gun is still aimed squarely at my head. I mean exactly what I said. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? I don't know who I am. You're trying to play games with me. I'm not playing games with anyone, I swear. I'm utterly desperate now. Getting killed is one thing, but who wants to die without even knowing who they are? Tell me, am I Hitomi Osawa or not? The man gives me a good hard look. Damn it, I wonder. He continues to study me along the barrel of the gun. Tell me what you know. It's an order, not a request. What I know about what? Look, I have amnesia. I quickly summarize what's happened to me since I woke up in that storehouse. The man listens intently, never taking his eyes off me. I see, so that's what's going on then. Once I'm done with my story, the man with the cane sits down on an empty soda crate. He seems he believes me at any rate. That's a relief, if nothing else. So then, am I Hitomi Osawa? No. Then who is a Hitomi Osawa? Is she someone who looks like me? Shut your mouth, the man spits. Just be quiet. His expression is vacant. What am I gonna do? He mutters to himself. If I'm not Hitomi Osawa, does that mean you don't have any business with me? Seems so. In that case, can I go? The assassin doesn't answer. He lets his pistol hang limp in his hand, the muzzle dropping to point at the ground. Doesn't look like he wants to kill me anymore, but it doesn't look like he'll just let me go quietly either. I remain motionless, waiting for opportunity to run away. Let's wait. I remain motionless, waiting for opportunity to run away. I might not make it in time, the man murmurs to himself under his breath. Not make it in time for what? I'm curious now, but this is hardly the time or place to try to find out more. I've learned for certain that I'm not Hitomi Osawa, which basically tells me nothing. I'm right back to square one on figuring out who I am. The assassin has gone quiet, sitting on a pile of crates. He seems lost in thought. Still, I don't dare try to get away. All I can do is stand and wait and mull over my own situation. Just who am I? I ask myself again and again. I am the one and only. No, I have no business with you, the man finally says. John Cena! Sorry. His name is John Cena! Go. Don't worry, I won't follow you. I wonder if I can believe him. Maybe he's just trying to get me off my guard so he can shoot me in the back. Do not go to the police or go back home, he continues. Lay low by yourself somewhere for a while. Excuse me. Talking always makes my nose stuff up. I don't know why. How long is a while? Until around sundown. This should all be over by then. It'll all be over? I have no idea what it is, but I decided not to pry in case he decides to change his mind. Okay, I'm gonna run away now. Sure. I take a slow step backward. I'm starting to turn away when he speaks up again. Before you go, I need to tell you one more thing. What's that? When you get your memories back, I'm sure you're gonna hate me. And so I apologize in advance. Of course, I have no idea what he's talking about him. It makes me even more uneasy. I truly am sorry. Got no response for that, so I just give the man one last look before I turn and run. Alright, what's his deal? He's obviously involved in the giving Hitomi the vaccine side of things in some way, but he's trying to kill Hitomi. Maybe to stop the other guys from getting the vaccine. But he also keeps fighting the syndicate people who have been trying to kidnap Hitomi. So where the heck does he fit in on this? I decided to look for some place to hide out for a while, as the gunman suggested. But since I don't really know my left from my right in this town, that's easier said than done. Before I realized it, I made my way back to the knick-knack shop where I bought the necklace. Maybe I could hide out in here? As I contemplate that possibility, I hear an all too familiar voice. Tama, 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 Tama! Oh my god, there's Mr. Yanagashita on the floor of the shop. He's been tied up with some rope. What happened, boss? Look, this is all just... I was framed. Nah, whatever's happened, I'm pretty sure it was all his fault. Just call it a hunch. He says I'm a thief. Well, I say he's the thief for selling stuff he finds around town. Hey, the sales clerk steps into view scowling. Just what are you implying? What in the world is going on here? Alright, so I really thought that we'd run into Miku on Maria's path here, but who the heck would run? I don't think Osawa would. I guess Kano then, it has to be. I'm the foggiest. Tama, help me! Please! Yanagashita kicks and squirms like a hyperactive child. Do you know this man? Sales clerk asks. No, well, I mean, sorta. He's a real pain. He's been making a scene like this for as long as he's been here. I find it hard to imagine a worse way to interfere with someone's business. I hate to ask, the clerk continues, but would you take him to the police for me? The police? Yeah. Oh, well, the police... The gunman did specifically warn me to not go to them. I feel no loyalty to that killer, but I'm reluctant to antagonize him. And for reasons I can't explain, I have a strong sense that going to the police right now is a bad move. But Mr. Yanagashita isn't privy to my thoughts, and he just looks at me with a hopeful gleam in his eye. 1 second. It's got something stuck in my nose. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Tama can take me to the police, and then we can put this all behind us. All's well that ends well, right? Well, sure. Feeling like I have no choice, I leave the shop with him. Okay, Mr. Yanagashita says excitedly as soon as we're out of earshot. Now let's go find the Chiri. Huh? Aren't we going to the What? No, we're not really gonna go. Oh man, I'm so glad you shut up, Tama. Now come on, let's go find Chiri. From the big grin on his face, I have an inkling of what's coming next. You've thought of another get-rich-quick scheme, haven't you? Goodness, Tama, you can see right through me. It's not that difficult. It's practically written all over your face, boss. But Mr. Yanagashita really isn't listening. He's too full of enthusiasm. Okay, so Yanagashita is gonna enter Chiri into the iron stomach thing. This time I got a line on 10 million yen. So come on, let's go make ourselves stinking rich. He punctuates his grand announcement by pointing fervently at some non-existent listener. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Several weeks later! Iron Stomach, a celebration of truly astonishing appetites, and the mighty stomach triumphs over the endless cavalcade. That. I stand with Chiri on the winner's podium. The cheers and applause are deafening when the master of ceremonies makes the announcement. Amazing. Yeah, this is dubbed over way later, sorry. Chiri is the champion. She laughs at the life. She holds up the trophy that signifies her 10 million yen win. And me? I got runner-up. I wasn't too into the idea at first, but after giving it a shot, I found that professional gluttony kind of grows on you. Amazing. Even I was surprised at how much I could eat. I had to admit, it felt kind of good. My memory still hasn't come back, but that doesn't matter anymore. That's to steal Chiri's spot on the throne. That right there is now my greatest goal in life. And there's a bad ending. The throne of gluttony. Tama never got her memories back. She ended up starting a new life on the competitive eating circuit, which may not be a horrible fate, but wouldn't it be better if she recovered her old life as Maria? When she was cornered in the alley by the man with the cane, there's someone who could have turned up and helped her out, Yanagashita. But he can't do that if he ends up getting tied up at the knick-knack shop. Amazing. So yeah, Twitch muted 10 minutes of this, so I'm recording this 3 months later. So sorry that you're missing out. But anyway, let's. Excuse me. Where do we go from here? Yeah, we're at it to be continued by Ache. So I want to try to do the jump over there, but I don't think we can. Okay. You ran after it, but wound up losing sight of it. Okay, so I can't do that yet. We're at Osawa's thing over there. So, I guess let's go back to Kano's story. Kano practically dived from the car when it arrived on the scene in Mario Macho. The place was teeming with officers and onlookers alike. Out of the way! Please move aside. Kano forced his way through the throng. Sasayama's lying in a massive pool of blood. Oh, right. Sasayama! Kano rushed to his partner's side. The knife was still embedded deep in Sasayama's belly. Its handle shuddered each time he drew a labored breath. Guess I messed up. Sasayama could only manage a raspy murmur. Please don't try to talk, Kano urged. Looks like I won't be celebrating the missus's birthday. Sasayama drew a small package from his pocket. They've been neatly wrapped, fitted with a pretty little ribbon. Here, give this to Michan for me. Kano shook his head. No way, you can give it to her yourself. You've never met Michan, huh? She's real pretty. Probably surprised how pretty she... I know, you told me all about her. Kano, please, give this to my wife for me. Mustering up the last of his strength, Sasayama pressed the gift into Kano's hands. Sasayama? Sasayama's hand dropped back down to the puddle of blood. No! The paramedic team finally arrived at the scene. As Sasayama was loaded into the ambulance, Kano felt a surge of rage roiling inside him. Clenching his fist so hard his nails dug into his palm, he marched over to the captive Al-Karawan. You son of a bitch! He wound up for a punch to Al-Karawan's face, only to have his arm caught forcibly by the elbow. Spinning his head around, he found Stanley standing there. Let go of me, Stanley! The American had a grip of steel, and Kano's arm wouldn't budge. They allow you to assault suspects here in Japan, do they? Kano bit his lip and lowered his shaking fist. No, of course not, he growled. Al-Karawan let out a nasal chuckle as he watched the pair. With a cold glare, Stanley strolled over to him. He leaned in close to whisper something, and all at once the blood drained from Al-Karawan's face. Visibly shaken, Al-Karawan said something back to Stanley. Stanley gave a slight nod and left the captive with the police escort. What was that about? Kano went over to him. Hey, what was that all about? I just asked that. Apparently Al-Karawan gave Itomi some instructions, told her to get into a blue minivan that was parked along Dogenzaka. So Stanley's hunch had been correct. But why had Al-Karawan confessed so quickly? How'd you get him to talk? You don't need to know that. Turning on his heel, Stanley went to report the news about the blue van to the task force. We're about to get our audio back. Kuze immediately directed the detectives nearest Dogenzaka to look into it, but they found no blue van in the area. The order then came down for all personnel to search for the vehicle. Kano thought back to another item in the Dick diary. Item number 14. Use the dead as a stepping stone, but be sure to die as a stepping stone yourself. Did Nagito write this? Hopefully my death will be the stepping stone for hope. In the abstract, Kano could appreciate the nobility of self-sacrifice. Yeah, Dick is like it's like a detective. That's a nickname for a detective. So it's his detective isms. Listen, I didn't write the game. In the abstract, Kano could appreciate the nobility of self-sacrifice, but when he thought of Sasayama's bloodstained figure, it wasn't so easy to keep his emotions in check. First time you ever seen a fellow officer get hurt? Stanley had come back over to him. We don't have time to relax. If you can't keep your anger in, then do something about it here and now. Stanley pointed to his own jaw. Hit me, American style. Kano smiled wryly at the unexpected proposal. Hitting this fan wasn't going to make Kano feel any better. I'm the one who deserves to get hit. Okay, let's do it right now. Let's punch. Stanley deserves this. Without a word, Kano threw a punch. Stanley soaked up the rage-fueled blow, his face a mask of calm. Kano felt all the more miserable in the face of such unflinching resolve. If I weren't such a bumbling clod, Sasayama never would have... Hey, don't blame yourself, Stanley said. You guys must have been doing better than I expected. More sarcasm, huh? Stanley's mouth curled up sheepishly and he held his hands wide. Kusei's voice suddenly cut in over the wireless. We've located the blue minivan. It's in Jinan 1 Chome on Kotendori. They told me it might be there, and maybe the kidnapper's ringleader would turn up too. On pure reflex, Kano broke into a run. Stanley followed close behind. They sped through the back streets, making their way towards Kotendori. Kano was a pretty fast runner, but Stanley kept up with him without apparent difficulty. Were you in the Army or something? No, the Marines. Of course he was a Marine. The United States Marine Corps, rapidly deploying force specializing in amphibious landing operations, an independent branch of the armed forces, along with the Army, Navy, and Air Force. The Marines' motto is Semper Fidelis, Latin for always faithful. It wasn't much further to Kotendori. 1 second. I need to just turn my ceiling fan up because I am sweating. Okay, sorry. I mean, drinking hot tea isn't helping that much, but it's better for my throat. Okay. It wasn't much further to Kotendori. Kano, if you find that van, don't get too close, Stanley warned. It could be a trap. These people will do anything to carry out their goals. Anything, huh? Yeah. Kano could sense the truth of Stanley's words. If you hear the sound of the fan, I'm sorry. I have to turn it up and it makes noise when it goes faster. He reminded himself that his life could depend on remembering them. He raised his eyes. They were coming up on Kotendori. Suddenly, a boom as loud as cannon fire shook the area. Something's wrong, Kano thought. That's no ordinary city noise. A column of black smoke rose up from between two nearby buildings. Passerby stopped and stared, gasping in alarm. Oh man, we've been getting a lot of movie segments lately. Wow. Action! Then kind of saw the flames. This hadn't been an accident. Someone had set off an explosion. Are we going to save them? No, this happened afterward. Several people were on the ground nearby, evidently injured by the detonation. Mr. Minorikawa! Mr. Minorikawa! Oh! A high school-aged girl was crying, clinging tightly to a man who'd been caught in the blast. Kano recognized her as the girl he talked to earlier during the traffic jam. The man looked like he might still be alive. Oh, that's Miku over there. The man looked like he might still be alive. Kano hurried over to them. Police! He announced. The blood was streaming from the man's mouth. He clearly suffered from internal damage. Hang in there, buddy, Kano told him. Stay with us. The man's face twisted up in pain, but somehow he managed to croak out a few words. Kano let out a gasp. The man's voice was almost too weak to hear, but what he said still shook Kano to the core. This man knew something important. Something crucial to the investigation. Rescue vehicles arrived on the scene, and the wounded man was promptly loaded onto a stretcher. When he was placed inside the ambulance, Kano flashed his badge at the paramedics and gotten alongside him. The man had already fallen unconscious. Kano didn't know when he'd wake back up, but he knew he needed to hear what the guy had to say. He sensed that the stranger was the key to unlocking the entire case. though Kano kept a lonely vigil, the man never woke again. The antiviral that had been given to Hitomi, the blue minivan Alcorwan told Hitomi to look for, and now the minivan exploding. Kano was sure this man had known how all of these tied together, but now the key to solving the case was gone for good. Oh my god, Minorikawa died. And there's another bad ending. Kano tried to get information with the man who was caught in an explosion, Minorikawa, but he arrived too late. If Minorikawa hadn't been caught in the blast, things would have gone differently for Kano. At 15:30, someone shouts something, and depending on what they shout, both Kano and Minorikawa's fates may change. Really? Okay, I know where we have to go here. That was on Achi's thing. Yeah, Hitomi approaches the van. But what's the difference in it was dangerous to approach, stay back, or Hitomi wait? Oh, okay. So he knows that Hitomi and Maria Osawa Minorikawa was trying to do that that article on them for the beauty pageant thing that they were in. So if he's in the area and we yell Hitomi wait instead of stay back, then he's gonna be like, Hitomi, I know that name. Hitomi wait! Achi shouted. But she didn't appear to hear his cries. The hope of rescuing her sister had driven all else from her mind. Okay, so this is gonna be the same thing though. So yeah, see, this isn't the bad end anymore. Oh my gosh. We still haven't gotten Minorikawa there yet, but okay. Alright. That's no ordinary though. Okay. So we're gonna go back over here. Run through the crowd. Alright, this is new. Yeah, you see him in Minorikawa's in the back left over there, stopping people from heading towards it. Wow! Excuse me. Then Kano saw the flames. This hadn't been an accident. Someone had set off an explosion. The Shibuya precinct wasn't too far from here. Kano recalled an attempted bioterrorism attack on Kasumi Gaseki. 2 years ago, the Tokyo Metropolitan Public Safety Commission obtained intel of an imminent bioterrorist attack within the city. Immediately afterwards, an unoccupied minivan exploded outside the Metropolitan Police Department, and a device for dispersing a bacterial contagion was discovered at the subway platform at Kasumigaseki Station. Having determined that the city bureaucracy was the target, the Japanese government contacted the terrorist organization responsible in secret, making a deal to put an end to the threat. That's interesting. The incident had begun with a van exploding outside the Tokyo MPD station. Already a large crowd of onlookers was gathering. Shouts rose up as they took in the scene. What's going on? What happened? The car's on fire. Kyle called in HQ, but then quickly slipped around to the back of the burning vehicle. It was a minivan. Peering at the flaming chassis, he could see that there was someone inside. Oh no, could that be Hitomi? Once they had their hands on the antiviral, the criminals would have no further use for Hitomi Osawa. Already the body had been charred to ash. At this point, it was hardly recognizable as human anymore. Okay, so we're stuck over here. We need to get Minorikawa's thing then. Because Minorikawa's alive. But we need to figure out how to get him where we want him to. It doesn't look like Osawa is the one that runs into what's her face, but I could be wrong. This is the bad end over there. Yeah, Yanagashita is supposed to come to Maria's aid over here. So, okay, so it's nothing in Kano's route here. Do we stop the girl? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what happens if we don't run into Hana. Okay, took her quickly to one side. Oh, managed to avoid crashing into her by taking a tumble himself. The girl's definitely still shocked. Sorry about that. Are you alright? The girl didn't answer or even meet Achi's eyes. She still just looked around as if in a daze. Was she waiting on someone, maybe? Odd kid, Achi thought. I hope she's okay. One more Achi sent off running. So that didn't change anything. Did it? Headed up the stairs. Yeah, okay, same thing over here. This guy sleeping on the job. And that didn't change any of this. How about over here? Should I tell them? No, we needed to do that. Where's Yanagashita headed? This has to be the thing. Let's try going back to the sales demo venue. Maybe he was planning to find some more customers and auction the laptop off to them. Damn, the guy led him on a wild goose chase. Minorikawa ran along Center Guide toward the Nokane building where the sales demo had been held. Before he got there, however, a glance to one side stopped him in his tracks. Aha! He chirped. Oh, okay, so this is just going to be the same thing. Spot the knick-knack shop. Run to Miku about 2 hours earlier, and there was a thing, buy computers at top prices. Yanagashita must be in there. Okay, so this is the same thing. Let's see what happens if we choose the third option there. Endo Electronics. It was the only local place he could think of that might buy a secondhand computer. Damn, that guy led him a wild goose chase. It sounds like we're just gonna hit the same... Start running towards Dogonzaka. It's just gonna be the same things regardless, huh? Caught sight of a skinny oh no, this is new. The skinny figure disappearing into the throng along Center Guy. The suit with deep bluish stripes. Oh no, that is him. Why was he head toward down... But why was he head down Center Guy and not toward Dogonzaka? Ah, okay. There's a second-hand knick-knack shop. Okay, so this is just gonna be the same thing regardless. Okay, this is not our option. Okay, so... You know, let's start Osawa's thing and see if for whatever reason we can see something else. I don't think it is. I've never truly trusted anyone, not on a fundamental level. Human beings are a type of organism that I can't get a true handle on, though through mere surface interactions. And the very fact that I never trusted anyone else means that inevitably no one else has ever trusted me. In the end, maybe the root of all my problems could be traced back to my heart. As he waited for Minorikawa to contact him, Osawa thought about his current crisis. One second. Assuming Tanaka was behind the kidnapping, then he must have accomplices. And these criminals had mistakenly abducted Maria in their attempt to get the antiviral drug that was in Hitomi's blood. Maria and Hitomi were fraternal twins, but they looked similar enough to be mistaken for identical twins. Still, Tanaka would never confuse the two. The mix-up must have been made by some criminal who didn't know Maria or Hitomi personally. Insisting that Hitomi bring the ransom to the train station was obviously their solution. It had set her up for a second abduction. But piecing together this much of the kidnapper's plan only raised different questions. Why had Tanaka shown him those emails from Hitomi? Wouldn't the criminals want to keep information like that hidden? Yeah, what's he playing at? The more Osawa thought about it, the less things made sense. Just who are my true allies and who are my foes? Mr. Osawa, a delivery has arrived for you. It was Kajiwara at the study door. Come in. Where is this going? Kajiwara stepped into the room and handed Osawa a letter-sized envelope. Osawa checked the label. Coming. An official Aya Kamiki fan club membership application enclosed. Requiring a 1,000 yen initiation fee and yearly dues of 3,000 yen, membership grants several perks, including the opportunity to reserve concert tickets in advance to the general public. Osawa is fond of the members-only website content, which includes Aya Kamiki's blog and exclusive videos. Right, he had requested the application the day he'd gotten back from overseas. Would you mind opening that? Kajiwara asked apologetically. What for? I'd just like to check the contents of any packages you received today, sir. It is possible the kidnapper may try to contact you by mail. Osawa opened the envelope. Inside he found the expected application along with several postcards featuring pictures of the singer. Kajiwara peered pointedly at the postcard images. You must really like her, the detective said. And just what sort of music do you listen to then? Osawa asked, staring at one of the postcards. It was a striking photo that showed off Kamiki's expressive eyes. Let me think. Mostly classical, I suppose. Osawa raised a quizzical eyebrow. You know, Kajiwara continued, like Mozart and Chopin and the like. Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, 1756 to 1791, Austrian-born, I almost said Australian, born music prodigy and classical composer. Famous works include The Marriage of Figaro, The Magic Flute, and Symphony No. 41, known as the Jupiter Symphony. And Chopin, Frédéric François Chopin, 1810 to 1849. All these people died so young. Composer and pianist of the early Romantic era, famed as a national musician of Poland, left behind numerous solo piano works. Famous works include his Nocturne Opera 9 No. 2 and his Piano Sonata No. 2. It's Chopin, isn't it? He hummed a few bars. Can't say I ever heard him. Are you serious? Kajiwara looked shocked. I'm familiar with the names, of course. I just never had much interest in music. Oh, that's such a shame. Would you care to listen to a piece now? May as well. Now that I brought it up, I was curious to know what sort of music Kajiwara enjoyed. No, let's do it. Let's listen to some classical music. I suppose I may as well. Now they brought it up, Osawa was curious to know what sort of music Kajiwara enjoyed. The detective pulled a digital music player out of his pocket. Here you go. Osawa slipped an attached earbud into his ears. Can I listen, please? Give me music. There we go. He heard a flow of quiet strings that was soon joined by bold, dramatic horns. As the piece continued, it grew more and more profound and complex, and Osawa could feel his spirit calming. I just want to listen to classical music on this stream. Make it louder. He took a deep breath and expelled it through his nostrils. He felt as if the toxic gloom that had filled him was departing with the air. Before he knew it, nearly 10 minutes had passed. What do you think? It's quite nice. The theme of this piece is, Kajiwara paused for a moment and thought. Well, it's about how erudition can be boorishness. Accumulated knowledge. The term often connotes an advanced and/or esoteric understanding. Displaying a moderate amount can impress others, but pompously flaunting it is bound to put them off. Thank you. If I hadn't met you, I'd never have discovered this piece. He spoke the words unthinkingly with unaccustomed frankness. Was this the power of music, then? Yes. Music is awesome. I'm very happy to hear that, sir. Osawa gazed at one of the postcards. He let himself be drawn back into the music. Aya was scooping up handfuls of mystical blue sand. The grains dripped down from her fingertips. I feel like I could be in this photo here, Osawa muttered, like I've lived my life letting so many things slip through my fingers. Kajiwara thought for a moment before responding. I think anyone who's worked hard to accomplish something and focused for a long time on that one thing is susceptible to those kinds of feelings. Accomplishing something means getting results. That's not where my problem is. Osawa removed the headphones and gave him back the music player. You told me not to hide things from you, right? Kajiwara nodded silently. Then allow me to speak frankly. Leaning back heavily in his chair, Osawa took another deep, slow breath. I'm anxious. So anxious that it's almost crushing me. Given the circumstances, sir, that's completely No! Osawa spoke up before Kajiwara could finish. It's not that. It's not that at all. He shook his head vigorously. If the worst should happen to my daughter, how am I going to feel, I wonder? I'm not a man with a wide range of emotions. My heart is always cold somehow. And the truth is, I've wanted it to be that way. Which is why, if I do lose my daughter, my heart might remain unmoved. I may not even be able to feel a father's sorrow. That's what I'm anxious about. He felt his emotions twist inside him in a way that was utterly confusing. For perhaps the first time in his life, he realized how fickle a thing the human heart could be. It's all right, sir. Kajiwara flashed him a carefree smile. What's all right? People who really have cold hearts don't worry about that sort of thing. The detective held out his music player again. Here, I'd like you to have this. Please give it another listen if you'd like. I think it might help you calm your nerves. Osawa took the offered device. He had dared to open up to Kajiwara just a little, and to his own surprise, he felt grateful for it. And how about one of these as well? Oh no! Stop carrying around bananas! The detective produced a banana from his pocket. I'm fine, thanks. Are you sure? I'm sure. Osawa spoke firmly, his expression softened a little. Stop handing us bananas! You know, you've been getting on my nerves all day. Really? Oh, banana. And here I thought I'd been doing what I could to soothe your spirits, Mr. Osawa. It's actually been a really long time since he yelled at anyone quite so much. As the words left his lips, Osawa found himself thinking back to one particular rainy day. Maria had been in 5th grade at the time. Osawa was standing in his daughter's room. In his hands he held the letter she'd left behind. He happened to glance out the window and saw Maria walking along, soaked from head to toe. In an instant, Osawa was consumed with rage. Maria had left a note. It read, Dad, you only pay attention to Tomo. You're too busy with work to play with me, so I'm running away from home. Struck by an impulse he didn't quite understand, he ran from the room heading for the front door. Maria had just gone back inside. Osawa met her silently in the entryway. Wet strands of hair clung to the girl's forehead as she looked up at her father with a bitter glare. You don't care what happens to me, do you? Oh, impulsively he slapped her face. Maria's cheek turned red and tears welled up in her eyes. Osawa's anger transformed abruptly into guilt. He gazed down at the palm of his hand and saw a tiny spot of blood. He was shocked by the recognition of what he'd just done. And then he was afraid. Afraid that his daughter could bring such raw emotion out of him and make him do something so thoughtless. Is something wrong, Mr. Osawa? Kajiwara was leaning in, looking concerned. Osawa came back into the moment with a start and realized he had buried his face in his hands. No, he muttered, looking up. Just getting angry, yelling at people. I'm not good with that sort of thing. I don't like it. He picked up the music player and fidgeted with the earbuds as he spoke. Well, getting angry and yelling at people, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's just human. It's human to do those kinds of things? I often said that he was cold and mechanical. Her sarcasm only underlined a fact he'd always lived with, that he didn't know how to conduct himself like a human being. If you get angry, you show it, Kajiwara said. If you get sad, you show it. It's human nature to let other people know how we're feeling after all. But what if doing that hurts the other person? That's when you apologize, sir. It occurred to Osawa he never tried to tell anyone how he felt before. He never felt the need to. And yet, right now, he suddenly felt that if his daughters were to appear before him, he might blurt out everything he'd ever left unsaid. How are you feeling, Dovey? Feeling the feelings is a terrifying thought. Feeling the feelings, darling. This game is making me think and laugh and cry and get angry. There's a lot of emotion in this game, surprisingly. I opened the door and stepped into the room. The detectives are asking for you. It seems there's been a development. We'll be right there. Osawa and Kajiwara hurried out of the room. Okay. Now we have to figure out how the heck to get Miku to show up at the department store. Cool. I don't think it's Maria's choice over here. I don't think it's this. There's nothing you could have done. So what's Minorukawa's path over here? Should I tell them that's the wrong answer because that gets Achi stabbed. What was this? Yeah, that doesn't do anything. We'll try the run for it thing and see if for whatever reason that's what we needed. Assassin doesn't answer. Let's make a run for it. Ooh, I pick up one of the crates that are lying around the alley and hurl it at the man's cane, then I book it right out of there. I run for a long time without looking back. When I finally do take a peek over my shoulder, there's no sign of the guy following me. Yay, there's Miku, slowing my run to a walk. I noticed Miku, the girl I fought for those cases of burning hammers, sitting on a nearby staircase. That's so interesting. Okay. So we just spent too much time there. Thanks for earlier, I call out. She gives me a puzzled look. You let me have those diet drinks from the knick-knack shop? Revelation dawns on her face. Oh, right! I didn't recognize you since you're not a cat anymore. What are you doing here, I ask. Just like, you know, she gives me a half-hearted smile. Say, where'd you learn Aiki Jiu-Jitsu? Huh? The question catches me off guard. I don't know what to say. Your Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, where'd you learn it? Jiu-Jitsu. My Aiki Jiu-Jitsu? Now that she mentions it, that's a great question. I mean, I must have learned somewhere. My body wouldn't have moved the way it did back then. I wonder who taught me. I think she learned it from Kanan. Try as I might, though, I can't remember. Miku interprets my silence as a refusal to answer. She lets out an annoyed snort. Huh. What is it, trade secret? Fine then, how long did you train? Not that long, I guess, probably. I'm just trying to avoid telling her I have amnesia, but she obviously thinks I'm being secretive. You know, she says angrily, after losing to you, I've completely fallen apart. I've lost everything. Do you know how that feels? To feel like you've lost hold of the things that make you, you? I nod with conviction. I do know. I've lost things too. Like my memory. You do? Well, I just can't take this anymore. I'm having a complete breakdown of identity. Developmental psychologist Eric Homburger Erickson, that is a fantastic name, was a key proponent of the concept of self-identity, the ability of individuals to continue and reliably know who they are and what they should do. Man, I wish I had that. I mean, I'm saying this having lost to you and all, but a long time ago. Do you mind if I tell you some stuff from a long time ago? Anyway, so a long time ago. And so Miku launches into her story. You think maybe it is for the best if I quit? She asks at last. By now 15 minutes or more have gone by. I've listened to Miku go on and on about her teenage years because I feel bad about getting her so depressed, but yikes! She asks me all these questions I don't even understand, but although I'm starting to get sort of fed up with her angst, I keep my patience and respond as best as I can. If you love doing it, then I don't think you should quit, I tell her. Chances are, if you try to do something else, you're just going to come back to martial arts anyway. Besides, you probably owe it to the person who sent you down this path in the first place. You think so? Maybe you're right. Yeah, you are. Miku's face has regained a measure of cheerfulness. Thanks, I'm going to keep on practicing more and more so I get stronger. I'm not going to lose to you next time. I'll keep that in mind. I've no interest in fighting her again, but for now I'll keep that to myself. Alright, see you around. With a parting wave, Miku hops to her feet and heads off. As I watch her leave, a feeling of jealousy wells up within me. Did I once have something that I was passionate about? I don't even know because I can't remember. I just can't remember. That gunman, the one with the cane, he might know something about me. At this point, I'm even willing to risk a running with the killer to find more about myself. I decide to head back to where he was before. When I arrive at the alley, though, there's nobody there. Paradoxically, I'm both relieved and severely disappointed. Then I happen to notice something lying on the ground. What is it? I pick it up. It's a notebook. Slipped into the back cover is a photo showing two boys and a girl. Huh. Well, what do I do now? Do I go to the police? How would I even explain the situation? I can see it now. There's a killer out there and he's after this person named Hitomi Osawa, and then the police would be like, who is that? And who exactly is after her? And then what would I say? Heck, they might even give you the time of day in the first place. Not only do I not have any idea who Hitomi Osawa is, I know nothing about the guy who's after her except that he walks with a cane. I mean, I can't even tell them who I am. They'd probably shoo me away without a second thought. What am I supposed to do? I hang my head at a total loss. The necklace around my neck sways idly to and fro. The necklace is 100% the tracking device that Kanan gave her. Okay, so we gotta keep out over here. And both those jumps were by Achi, so... yeah, now we can do this jump. Hooray! It's so interesting that we got through like all that dialogue to the, you know, where she got stuck, and that's just not there now. Alright, so let's jump back to Maria over here. Eventually I muster up the energy to start walking around town, heading nowhere in particular. The billboard outside the department store displays a poster of some female musician. She must be very popular because lots of passersby stop to take a good look. I catch sight of little Hana in front of the billboard. She's showing something to a woman there, colorful sheets of paper. Huh? The woman looks a lot like the musician in the poster. Yeah, that's totally Aya Kamiki, isn't it? Moreover, I have the feeling I've seen her someplace before. Where could I have seen her? Man, having amnesia is a real pain in the ass. I have no way of knowing whether I've forgotten something or had no memory of it in the first place. The woman looks through the papers Hana held out to her, nodding approvingly at each one. I can hear her murmur with admiration. Hana! I wave as I scamper over to her. As I do, the woman abruptly hurries off. Oh. Hey, we meet again, I say. Hana just gives me a bored look. Who was that just now, I ask. I don't know. Hana quickly gathers up her belongings and starts walking briskly away. Oh, hey, wait up! I call out. The girl ignores me. She's moving at a jog now, heading from Spanish Hill towards Koondori. Ah! As she steps out into Koondori, she trips and falls down hard. The contents of her bag spill out on the road. Oh, whoops! Catching up to her, I gather up some of the fallen pages. What's this? There are poems written on the colored paper. Oh, that's what they are. Copies of a prose poem titled The False Monsoon. The poem delicately details the wavering emotions of an adolescent girl. Also, in a clever twist, if the text is read horizontally instead of vertically, it tells about a father's worries over his only daughter, who is now of marriageable age. Hana's genius will soon be discovered by Aya Kamiki, and she'll go on to become a popular songwriter. That's so cool! Haruka, is that you? A look of embarrassment crosses Hana's face, and she snatches the pages out of my hand. Don't touch these, those are for sale. For sale? I'm selling poems that I wrote. Oh wow, that's incredible. That's kind of awesome that a poem reads differently depending on how you physically look at it. She looks surprised by the compliment. Incredible? My friends at school said they were dumb. That's not true. I only saw Lil just now, but I thought it was a really good poem. You're just saying that. Been out here in Shibuya for weeks trying to sell these, but the only person who bought one was that lady just now. Hana lets out a mournful sigh. Well, what are you out here selling poems for anyway? I thought maybe it'd help pay back our debts. Huh? Okay, that's not something I expect to hear from a little kid. My dad's in real deep, she continues. The topic makes me think of Mr. Yanagishita. Guess today's my day for meeting people mired in debt. And I'm only in elementary school, so I can't get a part-time job. Japan's Labor Standards Act prohibits the hiring of children under the age of 15. For certain jobs within the entertainment industry, however, employers can obtain permission from the Labor Standards Inspection Office for younger children to work. I'm impressed. She's so brave. She's maybe a little hard to approach, but she's just a kid after all. She's so brave, I just want to give her a hug. Oh, Hana! I hear a strange wailing call from behind me. It's him! Suddenly I turn around to see Mr. Toyama standing there, tears streaming from his eyes. This poor man has been also just chased around town. Hana! I'm so sorry, I had no idea you were trying so hard to. Toyama rushes up to the girl. It's quite an emotional father-daughter reunion. Or at least that's how it looks until Hana slaps her father across the face with her bundle of papers. What was that for? Don't you give me that! I'm sick of all this running around! She delivers several more well-placed smacks with her little craft project. Hana's the best. Okay, Toyama says at last. I know you're upset, but I have to ask you for just one thing, then we can see about getting through the day, yeah? Okay, but just one. I can't help but find this ordinary interaction kind of charming. You two get along really well, don't you? I say. Yup, no. The two give simultaneous contradictory replies. Then Hana sullenly starts to walk off, with Toyama tottering after her. It's such a weird little sight that I can't help but laugh. Well, later then. Oh no! Oh my god, you were so close. Further along Koendori, I come across a car on the roadside that's spectacularly aflame. A group of onlookers surrounds it in a confused uproar. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? It seems almost unreal, like I'm looking at a set for a TV show or something. I stand there staring into the flames. Huh? What's that? I can see something. The raging heat makes the air shimmer. The scent of dry sand fills my nose. A gust of searing wind tugs at my hair. Where am I? Decaying roads, decaying houses, a decaying city. And the people who live there. People who live. People who live. People who live. There's someone by my side. Someone is with me watching all of this. It's a girl. The person with me is a girl slightly younger than me. She says something to me. Anna Simi. Cat's Cradle. That's my voice now. Cat's Cradle? Whose voice was that? What's going on? Who am I talking to? Yeah, Cat's Cradle. I'm showing someone how to do a cat's cradle with string. But who? Who am I showing how to do a cat's cradle? Kanan. Oh man, the word Kanan echoes in my head. Kanan? I utter the name aloud. The images floating through my mind are beginning to break up and vanish. But I feel like for a brief moment at least, I'd caught hold of the edges of some of my lost memories. I love that anime. That's right, Kanan. As soon as I say it, I'm filled with a powerful sense of duty. There's something I'm responsible for, something I needed to do. If I don't, this Kanan person's going to be in grave danger. Calm down. Just calm down. It's actually Kian. I'm pleading with myself now, fighting the impulses to take off running. If I did, where would I go? I have no idea what my destination or goal even is. Please, please remember something. Please, please. I gaze out at the flames, practically praying now. Don't move. A voice hisses in my ear and I feel something hard pressed against my back. I need to turn around to recognize whose voice it is. I thought you said you didn't have any business with... I did a little thinking, says the man with the cane slowly. About how I might lure out Hitomi Osawa, see? I'm gonna use you as bait. Oh no. And Kanan is literally right there. No! No! Achi is there, Hitomi is there, Kanan is there, or maybe they're not there in this version of things. No, they should be. They're all there.